Good morning, children. Today, in our English language class, we will start with subject and predicate. Earlier, we had studied the sentence, and in that, we learnt that a sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. Second, it begins with the capital letter. Third, words should be in their proper order, right, so that you can get the meaning, the essence of the sentence, so that a person can understand the sentence, so that your message can be conveyed. For that, the words need to be placed in a proper order. And the fourth thing we learnt was that a sentence ends with a full stop, mark of interrogation, or an exclamatory mark. We also learnt the 4 kinds of sentences, that were assertive or the declarative sentences, which were statements. Second, imperative sentences, which conveyed a command, instruction, advice, or request. And the third kind of sentence was interrogative sentence, which is a question type sentences. And the fourth one was exclamatory. That means it conveys emotions like distress, happiness, fright, and so on. Now, what makes sentence? Now, over here we have 3 examples, 3 sentences. The first one, he smiles. Second, autumn leaves twirl gently to the ground. Third, the park district will open an outdoor ice skating rink in November. Now, we have over here have split these sentences into 2 parts. That means every sentence is divided into 2 parts. The first part is known as a subject, and the second is known as a predicate. The subject always has a noun or a pronoun. The subject consists of a noun or a pronoun, while the predicate, it has the verb. Subject, it has the noun or a pronoun, while the predicate has a verb. The subject always answers who or what. It answers the question who or what. That means if you apply the question to in the sentence, you apply the question who or what, the answer that comes out will be your subject. While the predicate, it answers the question what about it. For instance, we look at the first statement, he smiles, right? So if you apply now to know the subject, if you apply the question who or what, who smiles? So who smiles? The pronoun he smiles. Or what? So over here it is over here it answers the question who smiles? He. If you look at the second statement, autumn leaves twirl gently to the ground. So here you have to put the question who twirls gently to the ground, or what twirls? Who or what? What are we talking about? Whom are we talking about? So it talks about autumn leaves. Who? So what? In other words, we have to we have to ask this. We put this question before a verb. So here the verb is twirl. So who twirls or what twirls? The autumn leaves twirl. In the same way, the third statement, the park district. The park district will open an outdoor ice skating rink in November. So what is the verb over here? Will open. Will open is the verb. So over here we add the question, who will open? So what is the answer? The park district. Therefore, in this statement, the third statement, the subject is the Park District. For predicate, we have to put the question, what about it? Once you have the subject, the remaining portion of the sentence will be your predicate. Now we come to the next subtopic, that is compound subject and compound predicate. Now this is quite simple. A sentence has a compound subject when it has more than one subject. Generally, sentences have one subject and they have one predicate. That is one subject and one verb. If a sentence has two subjects, it is a compound subject. And if the sentence has two predicates, it is a compound predicate. Sometimes sentences can have both a compound subject and a compound predicate. There may be sentences which has both. You have a compound subject as well as a compound predicate. A compound subject is two or more subjects joined by the conjunction and. When you have two or more subjects which is joined with the conjunction and, that's a compound subject. For example, Michael and his teammates are Olympic athletes. We know that over here the subject is Michael and teammates, his teammates, right? So Michael and his teammates will be the compound subject. In the same way, every morning he and the other athletes swim laps. So he and the other athletes, they are the subject. Then we move on to the compound predicate. When two or more predicates joined by the conjunction and, they are known as a compound predicate. Like Lisa pitches and hits in the softball game. Now here we have, if you look in the first statement, we have two verbs, pitches and hits. Pitches, hits, they have been joined with the conjunction and, right? That means we have two verbs joined with the conjunction and, therefore it is a compound predicate. So pitches and hits, pitches and hits in the soft game. In the second statement, she worked hard, practiced and won the championship. Over here we have three verbs, worked, practiced and won. Therefore, it is a compound predicate. So I hope you have understood compound subject and compound predicate. So God bless and have a great day.